धन्यवाद स्वामी जी। और अब आज के सत्र के अध्यक्षीय उद्बोधन के लिए हमारे बीच हैं स्वामी अद्वैतानंद जी। कल भी उनके सारस्वत उद्बोधन से हम सब लोग बहुत गहरे तक आप्लावित हुए थे। आज एक बार फिर शंकराचार्य को एक नई दृष्टि के साथ हम सबके बीच साझा करने के लिए, उनकी विचार शक्ति को हम सब तक पहुंचाने के लिए आदरणीय स्वामी जी हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं। बहुत सारे अभ्यागत जो आज शामिल हुए हैं, आपको हम बता दें कि 1996 में चिन्मय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय आवासीय विद्यालय कोयम्बटूर में आध्यात्मिक और सांस्कृतिक शिक्षा के कार्यभार आपने संभाला और 2000 में सांदीपनी विद्या मंदिर के आचार्य का पद ग्रहण करते हुए वेदांत के संचालन में आपने अपना महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया है। उपनिषद को लेकर गहरे शोध और अन्वेषण की दिशा में स्वामी जी काम करते रहे हैं और शंकराचार्य को लेकर जब एक नए विचार के प्रकाश की दीप्ति की हम सबको आवश्यकता हुई, तब आदरणीय दयानंद जी एक नई ही त्वरा के साथ, नई चेतना और ऊर्जा के साथ हम सबके बीच में इस तरह प्रकट हुए। हम उनका सम्मान करते हैं और निवेदन करते हैं अपना उद्बोधन प्रारंभ करें।
ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। India is a land of saints. And each one of them have blessed our hearts with wisdom. And that wisdom is the source of all true happiness and fulfillment. We have had the opportunity to listen to great sampradayas, great masters represented through their shishyas. First we had Swami Vidyanandji speaking about how the Arsha Vidya, Gurukula, and the disciples of Pujya Swami Dayanandji, rooted in the wisdom of the Upanishads and very strongly rooted in the Bhashyas, explain the nature of reality and how the tradition is very beautifully sustained and nourished. Then we had Swamiji Hari Brahmendranandji explaining how in the Kailas Ashrama the Bhashyas have been studied in an unbroken way for many centuries, and how even now through the Bhashya Parayananjali and the study of the Bhashyas, the tradition is maintained. Then we had Pujya Swamiji here sitting in Shuddhidanandji, right Swamiji? Shuddhidanandji, very beautifully explaining how Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekanandji, and the entire tradition, their Atma is Advaita Vedanta. We're all very blessed. But we should note that these are not the only traditions of Advaita Vedanta. In 1 hour, 2 hour, 2.5 hours, how many traditions can be explained and presented? I request all of you present here, in your heart, to please think of the traditions you know. Whether it is the spiritual colossus, Swami Shivananji, the great Advaitin and the Paramahamsa and the great Jnani of the South, Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi, Acharyas of recent times, Nisarg Maharaj, and so on. How many of them have nourished the tradition? To all of them, we offer our pranams. To so many unknown teachers, in so many villages, teaching to few students, not wanting any kind of limelight, but yet serving the great cause of the rishis, sharing the wisdom of Bhagavan Shankaracharya to all of them, to the known, to the unknown, to the represented, to the unrepresented, to all of them, we offer our humble Sashtang Pranams. The topic today is transmission of Shankara's Advaita Vedanta in contemporary spiritual tradition. Transmission of Shankara's Advaita Vedanta in contemporary spiritual tradition. All of us know the glory of Bhagavan Shankaracharya. All the speakers have spoken. Even without anybody speaking, he is well revered. Every time we speak, our hearts is purified. One thing we have to keep in mind is that each of these saints represent that vision of the Lord himself in Dharma Samstapana. Dharma Samstapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. In the Bhagavata, we have a description of various kinds of avatars. You have Purnavatara, you have Amshavatara, you have Aveshavatara. But then there is one very interesting avatar that is called as Nitya Avatara. Nitya Avatara. Nitya Avatara means the presence of saints and Mahatmas in our midst to always share the knowledge. Because it is through that Bhagavan does the Dharma Samstapana. When there is a terrible problem, then Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma etc. etc. But all through the time there is some problem or the other. So when Bhagavan comes during every epoch, during every time to take care of our needs through these sadhus and mahatmas, then such an avatara is called as Nitya Avatara. In that lineage of great rishis and great mahatmas who have come, Swami Chinmayananji also has the presence of one of those great saints who have done their bit and ensured that that great knowledge is transferred and great knowledge is kept alive. Sri Balakrishna Menon, young boy, 1916, born in Kerala, in Ernakulam, studied his whatever schooling in Ernakulam, Kerala, did his bachelor's there, then went on to do his master's in literature as well as law in Lucknow. As a youth, participated in the Quit India movement as a freedom fighter, was imprisoned in the jail, and then he had some kind of severe malaria or some attack in the jail, and the Britishers did not want one more custodial death, then threw him out of the jail. Somehow he survived. A journalist, he came across the literature of Swami Shivananji, was skeptical, at the same time interested, wanted to go and actually check out like a journalist, and decided that they should all be brought to light and shown what a waste these people are there on the society. Went to Divine Life Society. Swami Shivananji looked at him. Young man, why have you come? And young man, that kind of, why did you come? I want to stay here and see what is happening here and write. Stay as long as you want. Swamiji stayed there. And after a few months, asked Swami Shivananji, can I become a sannyasi? That was a transformation Mahatmas can give in one's life. 1949, he became Swami Chinmayananda. Then Swami Shivananji himself suggested to Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji, go to Sri Swami Tapovanam of Uttarkashi. Swamiji was mentioning of Tapovanji of Uttarkashi. Go to him and study deeper. So Swamiji studied there with Swami Tapovanji and mastered the Shastras, gained the true illumination. And then one day, sitting on the banks of the river Ganges, he felt an inner call. If this Ganges rising in the Himalayas goes to the plains and nourishes the generations, nourishes all, this knowledge of the Shastra in the Himalayas, should it also go and help all? So he went to Swami Tapovanji. Swami Tapovanji said, no, 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 no. If you come to Himalayas, stay in Himalayas. Don't go here and there. Again, the feeling was strong. Then when once or twice he approached Swamiji, Swamiji said, okay, go. But on one condition. Swami Tapovanji thought nobody would be actually interested in this knowledge. So he said, if in your lecture there are at least 4 people sitting and listening, continue. Else you come back. So Swamiji Chinmayananji Gurudev used to jokingly say, in my first lecture, there were 4 people, including the mic man. So that is how Swamiji started at Pune. The first lecture was, let us be Hindus. So Swamiji explained, what is Hinduism in truth, in reality? What we just say Hindu, 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 what is it in truth? It is rooted in the Upanishadic wisdom, based on the great works of Bhagavan Shankaracharya. That way Swamiji explained. 100 days he took up the lecture of Keno Upanishad, based on the Bhashyas of Shankaracharya. 100 days. And they asked him, why can't you go to some other place? Why 100 days? He said, but somebody had to call me somewhere to go. That is how Swamiji said. Then it just grew up. People, invitations came from everywhere. And Swami Shivananji advised Swami Chinmayananji, our Gurudev, saying that 100 days is too long. You have to cover more places. So slowly, slowly it became 21 days. And by the time when we were youngsters, it was 7 days. Gita Jnana Yajna, Swamiji started. Swamiji went on the footsteps of the great masters only. But he created a method by which the Shastras can come to our doorsteps. That was the beauty of Swamiji. Initially he had a lot of objection. Women should not be given this knowledge. How can you speak in English? This should be spoken only in chaste Sanskrit. Objections were there. Swamiji took all of them by the stride. For only one thing he knew, that this knowledge should go to everybody. And Swamiji continued. This he used to call it as a Gangotri plan, to go everywhere and share the knowledge. And slowly he understood that 1 or 2 people doing this will not work out. So Swamiji got an idea that there should be modern Gurukulas where this knowledge is given. So 1967, I think, The first Gurukula was started in Mumbai, Sandipni Sadhanalaya, where the entire Shastra is given in a very, very, very pristine manner. Youngsters are taken, youngsters age 21 to 32 or something is taken like that, a very, very, and a strict course of our Shastra, starting from basic texts like Tattva-bodha, Atma-bodha, then Viveka Chudamani, all authored by Bhagavan Shankaracharya. And slowly entry into the Upanishads. A few Bhashya, along with the Bhashya also starts. Sanskrit also is start. We are all products of that. I'm from Tamil Nadu. When I went there, I did not know even A, I, I writing in Devanagari. From nothing, through a very systematic program, the knowledge is given. And by the time you go to the Brahma Sutra, Chatussutri, Shankara Bhashya, and that course transforms the youngsters. They become inspired monks. And Pujya Gurudev used to always say to us, tell us, never wear the teacher's hat. He used to always tell us. Very beautifully he used to say, you please go and share the knowledge, but never wear the teacher's hat. Your intellect is talking to your mind. Keep the Guru in your heart, keep the Lord in your heart, and let Him do the job. And remember, when your intellect is talking to your mind, you are loudly reflecting on all others or only overhearing. So that way, the very teaching of the Shastra becomes sadhana for all of us. Whether we are reflecting on the Tattva-bodha of Shankaracharya, Viveka Chudamani, or whether we are reflecting upon the Gambhira Bhashyas of the Brahma Sutra, all is only a sadhana, a manana. That was how the Sandipani Sadhanalayas began with this great vision, and today these Sandipanis are spread around the country and around the world also. You have, in Bombay, they teach it in English. Look at his decision where to keep the Sandipani, right there in the middle of the financial capital of India. A modern Gurukula he established. We are all products of that. We studied there. Many great acharyas who are now teaching Vedanta around the world are either from Sandipani directly or have studied from somebody who was in Sandipani. A total beautiful way. And sometimes very interestingly, somebody leaves the mission and goes. And they used to go and tell Swamiji, what is this? We have taught so much and this person is going off. Swamiji would say, what else they will do other than what I am doing? Let them go. That way was Swamiji's great Udarta. Well, these brahmacharins who are trained there, these Swamins who are trained there, they go to the various cities, in various cities. Slowly, as Swamiji started these Jnana Yajnas, devotees came together and they created an organization called Chinmaya Mission. When they went to Swamiji in Chennai and said, we want to call this Chinmaya Mission. He said, why call it Chinmaya? You can call it divine, you can call spiritual. You see, Sishyas are more intelligent than Guru. He said, but who told Chinmaya is your name here? Chinmaya means full of knowledge. The wisdom of Shankaracharya. Chinmaya Mission. Swamiji just smiled. I remember when I was a young boy listening to Swamiji's lectures, somebody asked Gurudev this question in a question and answer session. They asked a question, what will happen to Chinmaya Mission after you are gone? Gurudev replied, I did not start Chinmaya Mission. You all started. If the Lord wishes, it will continue. That was his Vairagya. He helped spirituality reach everywhere, but he did not organize spirituality. That is the beauty of Pujya Swamiji. I can tell because I am in part of the mission, I can tell the amount of freedom we have in thinking, in doing, is something enormous. We don't feel that we are an organization. We feel like a monk, and the organization is like a family. When somebody asked Gurudev, Swamiji, what could be the pledge for Chinmaya Mission? Summarizing the entire wisdom of the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutra, along with the commentaries, Swamiji came with a beautiful pledge of Chinmaya Mission, which is there in the lips of every mission member. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is a service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. This way, Swamiji extempore gave the pledge. And then we, studying in the Sandipani, we go to the mission center, and there are a field of opportunities presented to us so that we can do our sadhana. Various activities are taken up, which blesses the community, but at the same time blesses in our spiritual transformation. So thus, what Swamiji provided for all these young monks who got trained in these Sandipanis. You have a Sandipani in Bombay, then in English, then you have a Sandipani in Kadapa, in Telugu, you have got a Sandipani in Kerala, in Cochin, where in Malayalam, then you have a Sandipani in Siddhabari, in Himachal Pradesh, in Hindi, then you have a Sandipani in Coimbatore, teaching in Tamil. The same wisdom of Bhashyakar. Then you have a Sandipani not just in Kolhapur, in Maharashtra, teaching in Marathi. And everywhere what Swamiji would do is that he would bring also what is required in that local, along with the Bhashyas of Bhagavan Shankaracharya. If Tamil Nadu, he will bring Kamba Ramayana. If it is North, Siddhabari, he would bring for us Tulasi Ramayana. And now the Sandipanis, the Gurukulas of Chinmaya Mission, look at the name also Puja Gurudev gave for the Gurukula. He gave the name Sandipani. Sandipani is the name of Bhagavan Sri Krishna's Guru. Now the Sandipanis have grown outside the nation also. You have a Sandipani in South Africa. You have a Sandipani also in Trinidad. When a Mahatma does something with Satya Sankalpa for the welfare of the totality, it is Bhagavan's, it is God's will. And these monks posted later on in the mission centers take up activities. The topic here is how Bhagavan Shankaracharya's wisdom is disseminated to the society. That's why I'm talking of all these things. It is not to speak about Chinmaya Mission. It is to speak about the glory of how the work does, what transformation is given to the society in contemporary traditions. That is the topic. So we take up Bal Vihar sessions. Small children, they come, get together, and to all of them, Ajam Nirvikalpam Nirakaramekam, etc. Achyutam Keshavam Satyanarayanam Krishnada Modaram. All those beautiful compositions. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. Small kids. They get together, they learn bhajans, then stories of our culture, our tradition. That's for children. Then they grow up. Then we have in the mission Chinmaya Yuva Kendra. For the youth wing, the same knowledge is given. Gurudev has written some beautiful texts based on our wisdom, tradition. Kindle life, art of living. And slowly they go into Bhaja Govindam. A few chapters of certain simple text of Advaita Vedanta. A few texts they study. Yuva Kendra. Then you have study groups where the very same knowledge of Advaita Vedanta sit together, people sit together there's a study group, Sevak. So they discuss amongst each other. That Sevak need not be always a Swamin or a Brahmacharin. Somebody who is senior, who has studied, he facilitates the discussion and then doubts whatever is there. The resident Swami or the Brahmachari helps them understand. And then you have the Devi group, only for ladies, where it's slightly different. More of these stotras also added along with that, according to their temperament and wish and what they think is required for them. Along with the study, these things are also added. Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama. And then, now, this is Balvihar, Yuva Kendra, the study group, the Devi group, these grassroots activities. Now, recently has also started other things like Shishu Vihar. Shishu Vihar is children from the, not even children, the mother is carrying the baby. Shishu Vihar. From that age onwards, 0 onwards, up to 5. Bhagavata is spoken. Who is listening? The child inside is listening. Prahlada did listen. Shishu Vihar. Vanaprastha Samsthan for seniors. Where along with Vedanta, even their other certain things like physical health, etc. are helped. So that way, the grassroots activities help in the knowledge being disseminated far and wide. More importantly, not more importantly, importantly, is also the Gita Jnana Yajnas, which are conducted by all these monks, brahmacharis, swamins, wherever they are. There are more than 500 monks now. And the mission centers are more than 300. 300 in India. If you go to US, another 75, 80, Australia, Europe, Africa, everywhere these mission centers are there. And these Swamins and Brahmacharins, they take Jnana Yajnas. Jnana Yajna is a 7-day program, every day evening on Bhagavad Gita. The discourse is there. Morning Upanishads or Prakarana Granthas of Bhagavan Shankaracharya would be there. And thus, this becomes the Manana Sadhana for the Brahmacharin Swamin and Shravana Sadhana for others. We can say that there is no day in the 365 days where there is no pravachana on this Advaitic wisdom all over the world by one Swami or the Brahmachari or a Sevak. It's a non-stop Jnana Yajna, 365 days, all through the year. Vedo Nityamadhiyatham, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says. So centers are there, then various activities go on. I have another 5 minutes more. In this 5 minutes, I will share just 2 important projects. 2 or few. Very important is the publications of Chinmaya Mission. More than 5,000, 7,000 titles of Advaita Vedanta are there. That is a very important, useful contribution. I should also like to say here that the forerunner for all these publications is Advaita Ashrama. The amount of publications Advaita Ashrama has brought out. We are all grown up studying those books. So publications. Then there is a very, very important institution called Chinmaya International Foundation. This institution, Chinmaya International Foundation, is located at the very maternal birth home of Adi Shankaracharya. In a village, Veliyanadu, about 40 kilometers from Kaladi, is a mother's home of Adi Shankaracharya. It is said that Aryamba, when, she came to her mother's home and the prasava happened there. A lady goes to her mother's home for the delivery. That is how in Kerala, local tradition, Karna Parampara, there is that Shankaracharya was born in this mother's home. Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji, when that house was, they could not maintain, the Nambudiri family could not maintain. It's all made up of wood, teak wood, pristine, They could not maintain it. They were looking for somebody who can maintain it and protect it. When Pujya Gurudev came to know that such a great home of Shankaracharya is to be taken care, Gurudev said, never say anything about it. Just go, accept it. Whatever the Nambudiri family is asking, give it. Give more, accept it. And let us do this great seva to Bhagavan Shankaracharya. And that's how the mother's home of Shankaracharya is there. And Nitya Jyoti is kept ever lit there. And there we have a research institution for Advaita Vedanta and for Indian knowledge traditions. Recently, this institution has brought out 2 volumes on Adi Shankaracharya, on the Brahma Sutra, Chatusutri Shankara Bhashya. Word to word, every word of Bhashya is explained there. And 11 commentaries have been used to prepare the student-friendly edition. Kindly have a look at it. This is a benchmark in the publications of Brahma Sutra. If any publication has to come, it has to better that. That is a challenge this institution has provided by bringing out a student-friendly edition of Brahma Sutra. Many other publications are there. I know there is a stall also there. You can have a look at it. This is one important institution. Another important institution which has recently come about is the Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth, which is a university, which is also located at the birth home of Adi Shankaracharya. In the very birth home of Adi Shankaracharya, you have a university. That's a beauty. In this university, apart from various subjects, the beauty of this university, it's a very, very unique university. It's a deemed university, but it comes under the category of de novo. Every subject that is taught is rooted in Indian knowledge traditions. You may study BBA, but how Bhagavad Gita is associated with administration, that's taught. You may study BCom, how Arthashastra is there. And the entire Chaturdasha Vidyasthana, Angani, Veda, Shatwaro, Purano, Nyaya, the entire Chaturdasha Vidyasthana becomes the foundation course for all the subjects. And every student who comes out of the university knows Sanskrit, is not afraid of Sanskrit. Every student who comes out of the university is rooted in Advaita knowledge of Shankaracharya. That is how. And then we also have a Gurukula as part of that university. Advaita Vedanta is taught to students who are selected and trained in the Gurukula manner so that they can become traditional Panditas to protect this knowledge. We have a Gurukula for Advaita Vedanta, we have a Gurukula for Vyakarana, and slowly others also, Nyaya, Mimamsa and all will begin. The entire work of Chinmaya Mission is rooted in Bhagavan Shankaracharya and his works. What else can I say? There's many we can say, but all we can say is that whatever we do is only little. Whatever we do, yes, it helps others, but truly it helps us. We transform by this good work that we do. And Swami Chinmayananji, or Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananji, or the great Mahatmas, whomever, they're all aspects of the divinity to ensure that this knowledge is ever kept alive. To all the Mahatmas all over the world who are serving the cause of Advaita, who are serving the cause of humanity, to all of them we offer our humble respects in this great Advaita Utsava. Boliye Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद स्वामी जी। इस तरह हमारे आज के दूसरे दिन का ये पहला तकनीकी सत्र अब यहाँ पर विश्राम लेता है। हम सब लोग अब भोजन अवकाश की ओर अग्रसर हो रहे हैं और बाहर बहिरंग में हमारे जो भोजशाला है, आप वहाँ पर भोजन ग्रहण करें और ठीक 2:30 बजे हमारा अगला यानी कि दूसरा वैचारिक सत्र शुरू होगा। आज के इस सत्र की सम्माननीय अध्यक्ष और तीनों वक्ताओं का हम आभार प्रकट करते हैं। आप सभी श्रोताओं का भी, और आप सबसे निवेदन कि आप लोग 2:30 बजे इस स्वर्ण जयंती सभागार में पुनः अगले सत्र के लिए एकत्र हों।